So I'm on again, and I don't know what happened, but I'm here, and I'll be excited. And there's the notification. So before we get started, I always love to give you guys a quote, either from something that I am studying or a biblical quote, because you know how I love my biblical quotes. So today, the inspirational quote is from the Bible, and it's Proverbs 13:20. And it reads, "He who walks with the wise grows wise. He who is a companion who grows wise." Hang on a second. Let's start that over again. "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." And hey, Elizabeth, welcome. Good to see you. So this is, just a short quote from the Bible, because sometimes we need to get, hey, Patty, welcome. Sometimes we got so much going on with the news and our lives, and it can be so crazy. We have to simplify sometimes. And sometimes that means obviously getting rid of the people and the voices around you and eliminating them from your whole life. Because as you know, the Bible says, if you're hanging out with people that are bringing you down or criticizing you, whatever it is, that's not going to elevate you to a whole different level of being. That's not going to improve your life. And I notice, again, I could say this because I've worked with thousands and thousands of women, some men, but mostly women over the years. And it's amazing how many people can't let go of stuff like bad relationships, bad friendships, people that bring them down. So if you, again, whatever religion you are, go open your Bible, read the word, and everything is in there for you. Okay? So that's my little tip of the day. Just get rid of those people that are bringing you down. And if it's your husband, I'm sorry, or your wife, don't get rid of them. Don't get rid of them. See if you can work it out first. So today, you probably have heard it. The question I want to pose to you is Etsy dead? Because you might have heard it before. You can't make sales on Etsy. I've even seen business coaches say it's a bad idea to sell on Etsy. And then you start going down those rabbit holes, and you're like, wait a minute, what do I do? Should I sell on Etsy? Should I not sell on Etsy? Is Etsy going down? Is it a bad idea? Well, I guess that depends who you ask. So, is Etsy dead? Let's look at two different perspectives. So if you ask a person, is Etsy dead? And the person has been selling on Etsy and their store is declining, they're going to say, yeah, Etsy's dead. And you're going to probably find them in the forums complaining about different things like the algorithm and what have you. Why blaming Etsy for their lack of business. But then you have the opposite side of the coin, and you ask them, another person who maybe be very successful on Etsy, and you say, is Etsy dead? And they're going to tell you, oh, heck no, I make a full-time living from Etsy. So who do you believe? Right? Everything is perspective. So I actually have the answer right here, if Etsy is dead, and I'll tell you that in just a minute. But because we have so much information available to us, we are starting to, instead of making decisions for ourselves, hey, Jess, welcome. Instead of making decisions for ourselves, we are relying on, media and just a blog post or someone's opinion, instead of actually doing the work yourself and being in there, in the moment, and feeling like, okay, I already know in my heart, what my Etsy shop is doing, what I need to do. And, a lot of people just make excuses. So We'll get to this answer right here in a minute. But who are you listening to? Okay, are you going to listen to the person that is saying, Etsy is dead, my sales are down? So let me talk about my situation. So I am a top, as you know, most of you know, I'm a top 1% Etsy seller. And I, developed my business through consistency over time. And my sales are down. But I know why my sales are down, because I'm not putting much energy into my shop anymore. I'm putting my energy into my new business, which is coaching and my Easy as Pie Etsy course. And I'm growing a whole nother business. So yes, I am still making sales practically every day on Etsy because I've built my foundation. But if someone were to come to me to say, is Etsy dead? What do you think I would say? I'd say, no, absolutely not. And I have proof. So some of you have joined, a couple of you have joined the business, the Easy as Pie Etsy shop, where I actually build a brand new Etsy shop from scratch with, zero anything. I don't have an email list. No one's following me from Business Chic Mom. No one knew who I was. And I actually started making sales within several weeks of opening that shop. So now how does that happen? If Etsy's completely dead, and I have a system that I put into place about how to get found on Etsy and how to make sure you're being consistent. If Etsy was dead, I wouldn't be making sales within the first, month or two. I'd be like waiting around for sales to come in. So I'm going to tell you, no, Etsy actually is a fantastic way to start a creative business. So I want you to understand that people are going to tell you the negative because they're not focused on their business enough, and they're using excuses to say, well, Etsy's, the algorithm changed, or they're charging more now. Those are all excuses because you have to find out how to make your business work and be flexible. So let me tell you, when I first opened that new shop, which is just a demo shop, I wasn't, I'm not planning on, I don't really want to open another Etsy shop because that's not where I'm focusing my energy. I just did it to prove to you guys, you can open a shop, and if you do the right process, you can start making sales. And many of my students follow the process, were consistent, and they're starting to make sales in their first few months as well. So I know if you know the right system and you're consistent and you're dedicated, you can make sales, okay? Now, depending how many, that depends on how much you want to actually put into your shop. So I want to talk about so my brand new shop, what my focus was for everybody was to just say, hey, this is where I started from zero, and then this is what I did, and I showed everybody the process, and then I just kept adding my products, and then I think I'm at about 100 and something products, but now I'm kind of done with that demo shop. If I don't put more energy into that demo shop, it's gonna die. But because this already has traction, I'm kind of tempted. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I should be, because this is an automated Etsy shop. Maybe I should be putting energy into it, but I have to figure out where my best return is. So we'll see what's gonna happen with that Etsy shop. But the point is, the first 30 or 40 or even 50 listings of my brand new Etsy shop, no one bought anything, and I wasn't getting a lot of likes or comments or anything like that. So what happened? Well, I didn't stick to, I was flexible. And when you can be flexible, hey, Elizabeth, when you can be flexible enough to say, okay, I know I got a good thing. Maybe it's my designs weren't bold enough, good enough. If I can be flexible enough to change, maybe even go in just a little bit of a direction, you don't want to go scattered everywhere, but maybe something will spark. And guess what? I just stumbled across an idea, and then that little idea kind of took off. But it would have never happened if I stopped at my first, 50 listings and looked at my shop and said, well, no one bought anything. So listen to me, guys. When you're starting a business, it is never guaranteed. Sometimes people get lucky and things start to take off quickly, but most times they don't. It's your job as an entrepreneur to figure it out. And that's where people are having such a hard time. They don't want to spend the time to figure it out. Now, I don't know, there's so many different, ways to do business. There's so many, like if you can automate your business, that's fantastic. But some of you aren't in the position yet to automate because you're just trying to figure out what's going on, So my point is that if you don't give up on yourself or your dream or your business too quickly, you will find the breakthrough and the clarity necessary to continue on. And the problem is everyone they want to quit their first initial instinct, and then they want to, as soon as, no sales come in 2 or 3 weeks, they're like done. They're like, oh, Etsy's terrible. Or, oh, I've been on Etsy for 4 years and it's just not doing anything. Well, tell me what you're doing for your business. Do you have a Facebook, a Facebook group? Do you have an Instagram account? Like if you've been working on Etsy for years and you're only on Etsy and you haven't expanded to other touch points on the internet, there's a problem. You're not going to see growth because you're stagnant. So are you guys with me so far? Can I get a like or like this is making sense or something so I know you're with me? Because I'm going to reveal to you the answer in a minute. Okay, so the thing is, again, watch who you hang around with. Watch who you're listening to because you're going to hear everything. You're going to hear, there's my likes. So you're going to hear so many voices telling you, but do you ever notice most people will go to the negative, to the automatic, the worst case scenario, and it's drastic. Don't listen to those people. You see, I'm Italian. I'm talking with my hands. Don't listen to them. So if Etsy was dead, I would have never started a business and started making sales, up to 52 sales now. I am at my brand new shop with no email list, no nothing. I think I did a little bit of advertising because my conversion rate was good. I think at the end, Christmas, I did a little advertising, not much, but which helped boost a little bit. But again, if Etsy was dead, I would have never been able to make those sales. My students in my course would have never been able to make those sales. And that would have been it. Case closed, and I'm moving on to something else. So let's talk about what I've got in this paper here. Are you guys excited? What could be in the paper? I want to hear something from you. What's in the paper? Guess. Give me a guess. What's in the paper? Can anyone guess what I've got in here to give you the correct answer of is Etsy dead? Someone's got to give me an answer before I open it up. Take a guess, or I'm not opening it up. I'm going to wait here all day until someone takes a guess. Do, 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 do. No one's answering. You gotta have an answer. Give me an answer. Okay. The answer. Elizabeth said the answer. All-star info. Sure, whatever that means. Great. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. Ta-da! The real deal. This, from my granny glasses. These are the real statistics from Etsy from 2013. Okay, I'm not going to spare you with all the details, but last quarter, 2019, Etsy did $197 million in that quarter. And they're up 37% year over year. I want to show you this again. Look at where Etsy started right here, 2013. Do you guys see stagnant growth? What do you see? I see a nice line going straight up. Do you think that almost $1 billion, let's say I think Etsy's at $800,000 last year, $800 million, close to $1 billion in sales last year in 2019. Do you think that's no business? Okay, the stats are right here. So go do your work, okay? Don't listen to the negative people and the people that are stealing your dreams, that are trying to crush your spirit, because I've just proven, and my students, some of my students that are dedicated and doing the work have proven, maybe they're not there yet. Some of them have achieved over 50 sales. One person, Sheila, and the others are making sales, and some, that haven't really showed up yet. They're not there yet, but they will be. So again, my answer to you is the stats can't lie. Okay, there are people purchasing on Etsy. There are people, this is a growing platform. Now, there will be a point, every business has its growth period, and then there's like it's like a complete, it happens. Business just goes to kind of like I forgot what the name is called in business. Not a plateau, but it's kind of like a plateau until they find like another, to get to another level. It's just the way it goes. Growth only happens usually in the beginning stages of a business that is in a growth stage, like a company like, IBM, or, all of a sudden you're not going to see, they're past their growth stage, but they could still be growing in revenue. But that initial like takeoff, they're not going to see that again. But can they grow as a company? Absolutely, by new innovations and new processes and new, inquiring. I can't talk. Acquisitions. You know what I mean? So what I want you guys to take from this today is, if you come across someone that says Etsy is dead, or it's not worth it to get started on Etsy, I want you to run and just close your ears, okay? Wait, I've got a lot of other, wow, excellent, consistency, steady growth. It's not dead if you work it. Thank you, Dawn, that is true. Okay, any business you get in, I don't care what it is. I'm in multiple businesses, and the ones I don't put the energy into are the ones that don't flourish, okay? The ones that I am putting my energy into, those are the ones that are starting to see results. So what I wanted to leave with you today is don't be so quick to try to get rich quick if it doesn't happen. Don't try to be like, oh, been on Etsy for 2 weeks, no sales, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. No one knows you. You've got to give your business time to develop. Okay, I know what I'm doing on Etsy, so I probably can, start businesses and tweak them and then make them happen quicker than some of you, because you don't have the experience I do of 20 years in business. I kind of know, and not always, there's a lot of things that I don't know, but I kind of know how to make a business, get started and give it momentum and traction. But sometimes when you're new in a business, you don't know that. And it's like, you think you're doing something wrong if you don't see immediate sales. And those are the people that are going to go back to the drawing board and just start all over again. And then they're in the same exact position. So just run from those people that are giving you that negative advice. As soon as Etsy starts to really tank in sales, and then that decline happens, which I don't see happening. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to mention. If you notice something, there is a huge consistent trend. So Etsy had 3 kind of steady years, and then a little bump on the 4th year. 3 kind of, steadily growing, but 3 more kind of consistent years, and then a bump on the 4th year. 3 more years of little growth, and then a bump on the 4th year. I've never seen a chart like this, and I don't study too many charts, but I know enough on charts that this, I tell you what, 2020, if this is a consistent chart, is going to be a really good year for Etsy. I just wanted to point that out because I've never seen, like, that's kind of cool. Okay. So there's like, seems like there's like a 3-year thing, and then all of a sudden this little bump. I mean, seriously, guys, 2020 might be an amazing year for Etsy. Another thing is, one more thing before we go, because we're at 22 minutes, and I keep this at about 20, 25 minutes, because I could talk all day. I got to put limitations on it. Etsy is only the beginning. Etsy can be, it's like a little dot. If I wanted to, let's say my big Etsy shop that is almost $200,000 in sales, I think it's 187 or something $1,000, that I built part-time while I was homeschooling my daughter, while I was doing my design business and multiple businesses. If I wanted to make that $1 million business, I could. There are so many things I could do. I don't even have a website for that business. Those statistics are only on Etsy. So you may be asking, like, well, Stephanie, why aren't you doing that? Well, because my passion is with you guys. My passion is with teaching and growing my influence to inspire you guys. Because to be honest with you, I have big plans for my coaching and Etsy business to be maybe in a year or two in the millions. So that's why I've chosen not to go that route. You know, you have to choose where you want to put your energy into. So you guys, Etsy is only the tip of the iceberg. If you are not making it on Etsy, ask yourself, do I have an email list that I contact on a weekly basis? Am I engaged in a Facebook community that, my peeps know me, like me, and trust me, and then will buy anything I send out to them? Have I done the work to lay the foundation for a really good business? Am I looking for different products because mine are stale now? Am I looking for different trends or different, maybe it's a season coming up? What are you doing to make your business grow? Because you cannot blame Etsy. The sales are there. Now it's your turn to dive deep and figure it out. And even when you have a coach like me, a business coach, any coach, they will give you guidance, but you can't take everything like, oh, well, Stephanie said to do exactly this, and then you do it, and then it doesn't work. Because what we're doing is guiding you guys to make decisions on your own that feel right for you. That I don't know how motivated you are to make $1 million or make, 6 figures or whatever it is. I'm super motivated, and I've made millions before, and now I want to continue making automated millions. So again, I hope this was an eye-opener, and don't let those voices in your head tell you you've got to be the ones to make it happen. Okay? Get a good foundation. If you don't know what you're doing, purchase a course or find out what's going on YouTube. That can be crazy because you got a lot of people's strategies, but if you can't afford a course right now, start doing some listening to podcasts about Etsy or whatever it is, or whatever business you want to go in. You've got to start with education, but then the second thing is implementation. You can have all the information you want in the world, but if you don't implement, you will never get anywhere. You'll just be filled with a lot of stuff in your head, and it never went out to the world. All right? So implementation, more than even consistency, Patty. It's implementation. Implementation with consistency, yeah, that's success. Okay, any questions before we go? I just want to scroll through here. Some of you were like, yeah, excellent. Wow, this is good. Okay, fascinating. I know it's fascinating, this growth thing, right? I really didn't know that. I just pulled that up today. I'm like, wow, because I knew Etsy was doing well, but this is should be news to, get on there, start working it, people. All right, any questions? We're at over 25 minutes. Anything before we go? You can ask me anything. No. Okay, doke. I hope this was valuable, and don't listen to those people, please. The reality is, I opened a new Etsy shop, made sales. Some of my students did. They made sales. Now they have to harness how to figure it out, how to expand those sales. All right, Etsy is an amazing place to get your business started because there is unlimited opportunity on the internet. All right, guys, have a great day, and I will see you. I'm going to pop up on Friday for another Facebook Live. All right, guys, take care.